It begins with a whisper, a joke made at your expense, a tone that shifts around you, like a current pulling at a rope, a glance that lingers a fraction too long. Most people let that moment pass. They laugh it off. They tell themselves it was nothing. They make excuses for the other person. And every time they do, they teach the room something dangerous, that your silence is consent. Today I am going to teach you how to stop teaching the room that you are safe to disrespect. If you want more videos that transform how you show up in any room, make sure you subscribe now so you do not miss what comes next. Stay with me until the end, because where we finish will change the way you handle every small attack, every passive insult, every test hidden as a joke. Listen carefully. Disrespect is rarely personal at first. It is a probe. It is a low-cost test someone throws out to see if you will flinch. If you flinch, they keep probing. If you do not, the probe loses power. The moment you understand that is the moment you stop reacting like everyone else. The real work begins in how you respond the instant the line is crossed. Reacting with anger gives them the thing they want. Appeasing them gives them the cost-free victory. But something else works in a way they never expect. Absence executed with precision. Do not confuse silence with passivity. There is a difference as sharp as a blade. Passivity is surrender. Silence, done correctly, is disruption. When someone tries to bait you, go still, but not blank. Withdraw energy from the exchange. Let your posture tighten slightly. Let your gaze sharpen. Do not explain how it made you feel. Do not justify yourself. Instead, make the moment uncomfortable by making your absence felt. That pause is a new kind of noise. It is the sound of control. Next, do not retaliate blindly. Do not trade fire for fire. Mirror the violation in a way that exposes it. Ask a question. Hold eye contact. Tilt your head very slightly. Say with calm and measured voice, "Did you mean to say that? Or you sure you want to repeat that?" These lines are not pleas. They are surgical. They force the attacker to make their position public. Most will not. Most who throw a cheap shot are opportunists. They are not prepared to stand behind their words. Make them stand. But this is only the start. One measured response does not cement your boundaries for good. People will test again. Not as loudly, but as a drip that wears down the shore. That is when you reframe the relationship. You do not go back to what it was. You redraw the social map. Your warmth becomes a choice, not a reflex. You adjust the way you speak, the invitations you accept, the small courtesies you withhold. When the disrespect happened in front of others, your new posture must echo louder than any comeback. Withdraw your warmth. Tighten your language. Refuse their invitations. Let others see the shift without you needing to narrate it. When the sun sets on that first test, your reputation starts to pivot. Image matters more than innocence. People do not debate your moral high ground. They register your boundaries. They learn to calculate their tone around you. You become the person others describe as no nonsense, or sharp, or intense. That is not a fluke. It is the result of consistent, controlled posture. You earn that by refusing comfort to those who cross you and by being deliberate about who gets access to your energy. There is a next level for people who do not care about public shame. Some escalate. Some feed on reactions. When that happens, escalate socially, not emotionally. Bring their words back to the room in a way that reveals them. Say something like, "That is an interesting joke. Do you use that one at work too?" Or if you talk to your friends like that, "I dread to think how you talk to strangers." These lines are not meant to shame for humiliation's sake. They are meant to attach the attacker's words to their identity. People who thrive on disruption do not like being made to wear their words. Disproportionate consequence works because it is memorable. If the response matches the offense exactly, it can be forgotten. If the response is strategically greater, it becomes a lesson. But disproportion must be cold and calculated, not vindictive. Do not humiliate. Remove access. Give the social equivalent of a closed door. Answer politely, but withhold warmth. Redirect the conversation. Let them feel the absence of the connection they expected. That loss hurts more than an insult. Now, there is a more advanced layer that separates amateurs from masters. You learn to treat disrespect as information, not as injury. When someone insults you, ask, what does it say about them? Is it insecurity, envy, the need to dominate? That insight changes everything. Once you read their motive, you can decide the right course of action. Is this a person worth cutting off entirely? Is this someone to keep at arm's length while you use their error to educate others? Are they someone whose influence can be leveraged to reveal a pattern? You always act with calculation, never with heat. A vital habit to cultivate is unpredictability. Predictability is vulnerability. When people can forecast your reaction, they can design their behavior around it. Become difficult to read. Observe more than you speak. When you do speak, make every word count. Let silence and scarcity of speech create weight around your presence. People will begin to defer to you instinctively because their brains prefer stability in uncertain social environments. You have turned ambiguity into armor. Another thing to understand: presence is felt, not explained. When you enter a room and the atmosphere changes, that is not because you demanded it. It is because your behavior taught others what to expect. Presence is built through subtraction. Remove reactivity, neediness, excessive justification, the constant drive for approval. The less you give away, the more value your attention holds. You become the terrain others walk on, not a traveler among them. There will come a moment of choice after you have enforced a boundary and held frame. The other person might return with apology, with awkwardness, with overcompensation. This is a critical pivot. Do not rush to forgive in a way that signals your boundary was temporary. Do not punish in a way that reintroduces drama. Instead, exercise a form of mercy that is colder than punishment. Accept the apology, if you must, without warmth. Do not re-engage the same way. Let your calm remain unchanged. Let your presence remain scarce. The message is clear. You are never dependent on their approval, and your standards are not negotiable. When you maintain this posture, your name starts to carry weight. People speak differently about you. They caution others. They test their tone. That is not the result of dominance through intimidation. It is the product of consistent, principled enforcement of boundaries. You force the room to learn new norms. Practical routines will help you convert theory into habit. Practice pauses in ordinary conversation until they become natural. Compose a few calm, surgical phrases that you can use without thinking. Monitor your energy after tests. If your compassion softens too fast, rehearse small rituals that signal the new dynamic. Shorter messages, less availability, formal rather than casual replies. Make decisions about access explicit in your behavior. People do not need a public announcement. They only need a pattern. Remember this. You do not need to prove you are better. You need to prove you are not a free target. That shifts your whole life. Your relationships tighten around intent. Your work interactions become clearer. Even family dynamics begin to change, because people learn to respect the rules you set without you having to police them constantly. There is a final, almost paradoxical layer. As you become less reactive, you also become more strategic with generosity. You give warmth as a privilege, not as default. That makes kindness powerful, not cheap. When you choose to offer connection to someone who has proven they deserve it, that gift carries more meaning. People will trade casual familiarity for careful regard. That is an upgrade in how you experience relationships every day. Do not mistake this guidance for cruelty. This is not about domination for its own sake. It is about preserving dignity because dignity is the foundation of influence. If you tolerate small violations, you will pay for them in larger ways. If you enforce your boundary with calm and calculation, the room will adapt. People will avoid crossing you not out of fear, but out of respect. They will learn that access to you is not a right. It is something you manage. To put this into action starting today, cultivate 3 habits. First, when you perceive a probe, pause and withdraw energy from the exchange. Do not smile reflexively. Do not explain. Second, use short, precise questions to force public accountability. Third, adjust access. Withdraw warmth and availability until your new limits are normalized. Repeat this pattern until it feels natural. Let me be blunt about one more thing. Restoring power after repeated violations costs more than enforcing it at the first slight. The social math is simple. A single ignored slight signals vulnerability. Reclaiming territory after that requires resources and reputation. You do not want to be in that position. Protect your future influence by investing in your present boundaries. There will be moments when people label you as cold. Expect that. Some will prefer warmth over boundaries and will confuse scarcity with malice. That is their choice. Your job is to be loyal to your standards. Over time, people who thought you were cold will either adapt or drift away. Many of those who drift away will have been the people you were better off without all along. When you are consistent, you will notice a change. Conversations that used to be noisy and chaotic will become measured. People will think twice before they speak. You will be offered opportunities because others perceive reliability and control. It is a subtle shift that compounds into real advantage. In the end, power is not about being loud. It is about being decisive. It is about making the room respect your limits without you having to shout. It is about turning small tests into lessons for everyone present, and doing it in a way that costs you nothing emotionally. That is how you become someone who is not disrespected because you are not reachable in the ways that allow disrespect to thrive. Before we finish, I want you to reflect on 3 questions. Think about the last time someone crossed a line with you. Did you flinch or did you pause? When that white space opened, how did you fill it? And finally, who in your life is testing the boundary that you have not yet defined? Answer those in your head, and if you feel compelled, share one insight in the comments so we can all learn from each other. If this video helped you see a new path to controlling your presence, do not forget to subscribe so you will be the first to see more content like this. If you found value here, give this video a like and leave a comment with a moment when you enforced a boundary that changed something for you. Share the video with someone who needs to learn the difference between being passive and being present. Thank you for staying until the end. Remember, you do not need to be loud to be respected. You only need to be consistent, precise, and unwilling to tolerate the small things that poison reputation over time. The room will recalibrate. Your energy will gain weight. And from that place, you will never again be so easy to cross.